I, a teen female, am an only child, and that position will expire in October when my parents have their second child. They were always supposed to be one and done with me, something I was aware of partly due to them finding childcare ridiculously expensive and mom enjoying her job too much to stay home. Another part is that they were not natural parents and are entirely hands-off. We never do anything as a family. They're not very involved in my life. They pay for stuff, and that's their contribution to my life. The pregnancy was a big shock for them and for me. I heard them discussing what they would do, and my mom was repeatedly saying she was not going to stay home and she was not going to take much maternity leave, that she wants to be back at work ASAP. They complained about how much it'll cost to get someone to watch the baby while they work and during the summers and stuff. I heard them mention me, and I was like, oh heck no. They sat me down a week ago and told me they had these plans for me to watch the baby for 3 to 4 hours after school until they got home from work. It would involve quitting all my after-school stuff and not hanging out with friends after school. They also want me to stay home next summer and to consider hanging around to be there for the next few summers. I was like, no way. They told me I would be a big sister now and that I have responsibilities as part of the family. I told them they had responsibilities as parents, and I was not a parent. I was the child in their house. They told me not for long. I said I could just rush to graduation and leave, so they can't use me as free childcare. They didn't expect these reactions from me, or the thought I had put into it. After I heard them talk with each other, I found out that I could graduate in December by talking to my guidance counselor. I'm almost finished with my junior year now, and could finish senior year early with the grades I keep and the work I do. That is definitely the most appealing option to me, and my birthday's in a couple of weeks anyway, and I'll nearly be an adult. My parents were really unhappy with me, and they told me I was going to miss out on so much by doing this. I told them I won't care for or raise the baby for them. I have my own life, and being stuck with the baby is not part of it. They told me I was being incredibly selfish, and to think about what I was throwing away. They also said I won't be a very good sister if I refuse to be a part of the baby's life. Am I the idiot? The classic, you're selfish for not giving up your life while I live my best life attitude. Not the idiot. You were right when you said they had responsibilities as parents, and I am not a parent. I'm a child in their house. They are the parents. It is their child and their responsibility. I get helping out occasionally, but this is unfair to you. Plus, you are a teen. You're so young. What happens if you go to college or something? They're irresponsible parents. Have you got grandparents or another family you could go stay with? I don't have extended family. Never met anyone in either family. I've never even heard anything about family from them. Not that they spend enough time around me to say anything. They expect me to stay local for college and stay living with them so I can take care of the baby. They tell me to do it online so I can be home all day with the baby. I'm sorry, but this sounds so weird. Your parents don't talk to you about family. You don't know any family members. They don't raise you like a daughter, but like a house bill. And now they want you to be a slave and work for free? Honey, I'm really sorry for you. Nobody deserves this kind of family. These types of people are the ones that will never be missed. Tell other adults in your life what's going on. Friends, parents, teachers, counselors, etc. I've known people your age who have lived with friends' parents until they turned 18 because of difficulties with their own parents. To me, this seems like a situation where you need to brace to get out of there because I don't see your parents respecting your boundaries. Another option is to take a DNA test and see if you get any family matches. You may have more family than you think, and they can help. Check in with your friends and their parents anyways. Some of us have an open door policy for kids in need. I've met some of my kids' friends because they needed a place to stay for the night. I, 19 female, have lived in an apartment with Jess, 21 female, for a year and a half. In that time, I've had one guy, my boyfriend, stay overnight a whopping total of 3 times. When I moved in, Jess said she didn't care about sleepovers. I guess that changed. So I always made sure to let her know when my boyfriend was coming over, and we were always respectful and tried to coordinate times when she wasn't going to be home. He also never mooched off us, and we mostly hung out at his place because Jess was so insufferable to be around when you had guests. Jess and I recently got into a huge argument about it, and she said it's disrespectful of me to have a guy overnight. We clearly both had our own opinions about it and couldn't persuade the other one, so I arranged to move in with my boyfriend, and Jess was going to find a new flatmate. She, Kate, and her boyfriend came over to check the place out. Jess was irritated by that because she was only sharing with the girl and not the pair. At one point, Kate made a comment about the size of the bed, king size, and some comment to her boyfriend about the romantic nights they'd spend together. Here's where I may be the idiot. I knew that if Kate moved in, there would be some huge argument about her boyfriend in the near future, especially since she was making comments about him hanging out there. So while we were waiting for Jess to get some things from another room, I mentioned that she doesn't like her roommates having guys over at all, especially overnight. This seemed to concern the pair, and they asked Jess about it when she returned. She looked really embarrassed and said, "I'm not actually." The pair tried to pry for answers, but she said that if Kate moved in, her boyfriend couldn't stay for more than a few hours, especially not overnight. This caused Kate and her boyfriend to leave. After they left, Jess blew up at me and accused me of sabotaging the meeting. I said that she was being ridiculous because there's no way in heck she's going to be okay with Kate and her boyfriend if she wasn't okay with me and mine. She called me vindictive and malicious to bring up her no boy rule. I said that I never technically broke her rules, as we agreed on allowing sleepovers so long as we told the other person, and her views have clearly changed. But it's not my fault that she didn't tell me. Now she's infuriated with me. Am I the idiot? Edit. Jess doesn't have an SO, and hasn't for as long as I've known her. Not the idiot. Kate doesn't deserve to move in and be told that her boyfriend can't sleep over, especially if she's also paying rent. You didn't deserve that either. I would tell any potential roommate so that someone isn't locked into a lease agreement with someone like Jess. She's dishonest by not telling potential roommates that she doesn't allow male guests to sleep over. You spoiled my sneaky plan to secure the tenant and only then give her the info that would have made her walk away, you idiot. Jess can have that rule, but she needs to disclose it to any potential roommates. You were correct in letting Kate know. Jess needs to live alone, find a roommate that agrees with this policy, or travel back in time to 1940 and live in a women-only boarding house. Somehow I think Jess's delicate sensibilities may still find an issue with that arrangement. Why does Jess feel like she's allowed to police what others do? I'm also curious as to the reasoning. Is it religious? Is it trauma? Is she just an idiot who likes to tell others what to do? What right does she have to enforce this rule? I mean, I suppose it's more of a mutual respect thing. If she told me when I moved in that she didn't like guys being over, I'd respect it because I don't know her story. I'd want her to respect me if I had a boundary, although I do think no boys is a little archaic. But she lied to me about it, which is my main problem with how she wanted to deal with Kate. Last Friday night, I, 37 male, was hanging out with my daughter, tween, watching a movie. My wife, 34, was working late while our son, younger tween, was hanging out with his friend. Around 8 p.m., his friend's mom texted me, letting me know she was driving him home. I thanked her and let my daughter know her brother was on his way. She then suggested that we play a prank on him, in which we jump out and scare him. I thought it would be a funny, practical joke, and long story short, she and I ended up putting on scary Halloween masks, dimming the lights, and hiding behind a couch. I then texted his friend's mom and told her that his sister and I were watching a movie and to send him to the family room downstairs when he got home. He got home and came in. We heard him come in and say, "Hello?" and then come down the stairs. When he got close, we jumped out at him and shouted. Now, here's where I fully admit I messed up. I thought he'd just be startled for a second and then would laugh with us over the prank. But that's not what happened. We ended up frightening him way more than I'd anticipated. He started running off and then had a huge, trembling, crying adrenaline dump for a long time. I felt really bad, and so did his sister. His mother came home soon after and ended up sitting with him, hugging and comforting him. Naturally, she wasn't amused by my antics, which I understand because, again, I screwed up. However, she has stayed mad at me for all these days afterward. She will barely talk to me. Eventually, I got tired of it and told her she needed to get over it. I screwed up, but I didn't mean any harm. I just way underestimated how much our prank would scare our son. I also think that our daughter's seeing how she's treating me over it and is being made to feel way too bad over her idea that was just playful, not bad-natured. But she says that I should have known better and won't seem to forgive me. I get it. She's always been a complete mama bear, but it's not as if I don't love our kids too. Was my prank honestly so beyond the pale that I deserve to keep being punished over it? You are the idiot. She may well be mad until your son fully recovers from the scare you gave him. For him to have such a huge response to your prank suggests that he's sensitive, possibly anxiety or panic prone, and you should have known better. Big responses like that rarely come out of thin air. As if that wasn't bad enough, you didn't even comfort your own child? You terrified him and left comforting him to the other parent, who hadn't even gotten home yet. When your kid is so scared, they're crying and trembling, even the most emotionally unintelligent parent should be able to recognize that they need to step in and help their poor child calm down. OP, what kind of father do you want to be? The kind who teaches his children to be secure and empathetic, or the kind who teaches them that their actions shouldn't have consequences if they didn't mean any harm? You said you screwed up again. What else have you done? You need a wake-up call. The fact that your wife is still mad at you days later tells me two things. One, this isn't the first time you've done something like this. And two, you aren't taking any real responsibility for your own actions. Be better. Also, let's call a cat a cat. The prank gave his son a panic attack. No wonder the wife is mad. My mom played a prank on me when I was little, where she pretended she wasn't my mom and that she was calling the cops to find my real mom. She was rather insistent on this prank, despite me not believing her initially. Eventually, I ended up bawling my eyes out, terrified. This memory followed me to adulthood, and in therapy, it was uncovered that her prank happened to hit the right chords for some issues I was already having. I can understand your wife's feelings. You should have known better. So the other day, my 35 male twin nieces, Aria and Nina, had their 12th birthday. For Aria, I got her an art bag, basically a small tote with hard backing and different sections and pockets filled with art supplies, colored pencils, watercolors, markers, sketchbooks, etc. A young artist cornucopia. For Nina, I bought some new softball supplies. She has new cleats, a batting helmet, 12 new softballs, she loses hers easily, and a metal bat. When the girls were unwrapping their presents, they both loved them. My sister, the twins' mom, shoots me a weird look, but I think nothing of it. Later, my sister gets me alone and confronts me about getting Aria more things than Nina. I responded that I tried to gear the gifts towards the girls' individual interest. She said that that didn't matter, that Aria got more things. She did get more individual items, and that wasn't fair. I actually added up the total cost later because I was feeling unsure, and the two gifts were of similar cost. Actually, Nina's gift was $20 more expensive. I did inform my sister of this. Still, she's been cold to me since then, which is weird because we're usually quite close. This is having me feeling even more unsure. Am I the idiot for my gifts to my nieces? OP, is your sister Dudley Dursley? But last year I got 37. You got your nieces fair gifts. They often receive identical gifts, but those who know them best know their individual preferences, and it means a lot to them. In fact, more than the dollar value of the gift. Maybe your sister's worried that one will feel valued more than the other, but she's overreacting and will get over it. I agree with you. OP, I can see where your sister's coming from. She doesn't want all the drama and fights if the twins take this perspective. Still, since the twins love it, she's focusing on an imaginary situation and should let it go. I expected one of them to get significantly less and that you truly favored one over the other, but they were gifts perfect for each of them. Good job. My ex-wife wanted a purebred dog as a pet when we were together. I tried to talk her into a rescue dog, but she said no. I tried to talk her into adopting a mutt, since they're generally healthier than all the inbred pure dogs. Nope. She had to have this particular dog breed. This particular breed is famously bad at breathing. I could afford it, so I finally gave in. I got her the dog she wanted. He was never our dog. He was her dog. Unless it was unpleasant outside, then I had to walk him. I also paid all the vet bills and dog-related bills. When we divorced, she took her dog with her. No kids, thank God, so no child support. No spousal support either. Well, it's been about 6 months since I heard from her. The dog is not doing well and needs some expensive surgery. Since he was our baby, she wants me to pay for the operations. I said, no thank you. Now she's angry and is contacting my friends and family, trying to get me to change my mind. Some of my friends are starting to take her side. They say that I'm being an idiot for not helping an animal that I used to care about. I don't think I owe her any help. I thought buying him was a bad idea. I was repeatedly told he wasn't mine, and she left with him, and I've not seen him in months. Am I the idiot? Man, this sucks. I want to say you are the idiot because of the poor pup, but honestly, I gotta end up with a not the idiot. She made her decision to leave and cut off contact. Ex-wife and her life, not your problems. I'd be so angry if I were you. That's so crap that some people are taking her side. Unfortunately, some people get so dumb about this stuff. I'd let her know if she contacts any more friends and/or family, you'll file for harassment. Sorry, but you are the idiot. The only obligation you really have here is to the dog. The thing is, you did buy the dog, so despite the pressure, you are responsible for it, living with your ex. Therefore, any actions you take or do not take should be with the dog's welfare in mind, not your feelings about your ex. Could you compromise by offering a very small amount towards the vet bills? So if it's $1,600 for the bill, maybe offset $200? It's always the pet who suffers at the hands of humans. I went with everyone's the idiot here because you won't pay and get all petty over it, and your wife should have at least stayed sharing the dog with you, if only to ensure you covered the vet bills. Also, everyone's the idiot here because neither of you got insurance for the dog, which is a must for any dog, but especially one with potential known issues. You should help her. You both made a decision to bring this dog into your home.